Finley James, you are sitting here in the studio today looking rather blue. And I mean that in two meanings. You are a bit crook.
Yep.
And you're wearing a lot of blue.
Yes. I'll make two comments there.
Yep.
First one, this is not the first time we've tried to do this recording. We came in here yesterday and we got 5 minutes in and we had to pull the plug because I couldn't get a word out.
Yeah, he was crook.
Feeling a bit better today. So
You got the black lung.
Yeah, second reason though. New South Wales Blues Origin decided in Perth tonight. We're going for a famous victory. I think it's... I done an early crower, and most people who are into this, they'll know obviously by tomorrow what the result was. But I don't see a way in which we lose tonight.
Oh fuck!
Is that bad for me to say?
No, I love the positivity and the manifestation.
Yeah.
But
this could really come back and bite me. I'm throwing all my chips out on the table here, but
I feel like there's been a shift ever since the Maroons went on that god awful long winning streak. But
there's been a shift ever since Billy Slater started just being really rogue and doing weird stuff. So anyway, we'll be sort of waking up tomorrow to this podcast being released. And
can you tell me, are you going to be waking up financially better off? Is there any...
It's too short for me. I can't bet on him at those odds. It's too short for me to bet on.
What's too short?
Like the Blues, they're not paying enough.
Right.
Okay.
We'll throw in any time scorers.
There'll
someone
be
to have a heart attack at midway through, or someone to streak or something. You can bet on all kinds of shit.
There'll be
now.
Some multis for sure, and
Okay.
I really do hope that financially I'm better off tomorrow. But
there's one in there. That's what was the crux of my question. Is there a little stake involved?
There will be, for sure.
Okay.
I haven't undecided yet.
How many footballs are in that stake?
Oh, there'll be a few legs, mate. Don't you worry. But yeah. Anyway, Blues famous victory tonight. Sucked in Queensland. Sorry to all our Queensland listeners. We still love you, but Blues are definitely winning. So anyway, that's the reason why I'm dressed here in blue with actually matching shoes as well. If you can see that.
Yeah, he's going all out
for everyone on the YouTube.
Head to toe.
But yeah, look. What else is blue is the big highlight on the top of our document that we always forget to do.
We're not going to. Thank
you, everyone. And we've had some really positive messages this week from people. But thank you to everyone that's already followed us on Instagram, TikTok, at the Yago Podcast. If you can like and subscribe on YouTube or on Apple Podcasts or whatever app you use.
Your favourite streaming platform is what I hear on other people's podcast,
yeah.
So we'll steal that line.
Yeah, at the Yago Podcast or just the Yago Podcast, but touched on it before. Really been enjoying some of the positive feedback we've had this week, and we'll take negative feedback too, but there's been some really cool, someone from the Canary Islands sent you a pretty decent...
Mr. Fuentes.
Yep, sent you a big voice message yesterday and was really digging what we've been doing, so thank you to you guys.
That warms your heart, doesn't it?
Really does, mate. It really does.
I was saying to you yesterday, I think you could get one or two bad comments, but the one good comment that someone goes out of their way to message, direct message, not just a comment on a reel or something, but a direct message or something like a text or something. If someone says, hey, look, really liking what you're doing, that whitewashes over all the negative shit. Because most of the negative stuff is just a bit of a keyboard warrior, and we're not perfect, so feel free to dish some shit our way.
For sure.
That's okay, but... like I said, the impact of someone to directly message and say, hey, look, really like what you're doing, just overpowers all those negative ones.
100%. There's usually the bad ones are usually no profile picture, your grey, just run-of-the-mill face profile picture with a username that just has numerous different numbers and letters.
If it's got numbers in it,
yeah.
Bot.
They follow 1,000 people. They have 0 followers, and it's just crew just going out of their way to sort of ruin someone's day. But look, it's kind of funny at the same time. I enjoy reading them.
But on that note, we want to say thank you.
Yeah.
And we've been saying that we're going to do this for a while now, Finley, but we've actually got some tangible prizes here that we can reveal. Yeah. So kicking it off, we have got a $500 Ruka voucher so that you can go on the website, kit yourself out from head to toe. $500 to get you pretty
Get your
neat
long
wardrobe.
way, for sure.
You can get a good little wardrobe out of that.
100%.
And then to put all your new items in, we have got one of these backpacks. I'd call this like an amphibious backpack, Finley, where you can take this to the beach and all your stuff will be safe from the elements. Don't know about you, but when you go surfing and your towels just on the beach with your car keys or something and it starts pissing down, it's a dampener.
Yeah, no,
Big old dampener.
That'll save your day for sure.
What else we got? We got a stubby cooler. You need a stubby cooler, and everyone's got that, tub or spot in your kitchen where you've just got stubby coolers that you never use. So you can use this one or put it next to the ones that you don't use. And we've got a Geordie Smith signature Futures pad. Pretty mad. It's not a crazy colourful one that is just sitting on the shelf waiting for someone else to get down to that, where there's that last one on the shelf.
Looks like one of a rainbow paddle pop or something, and you just,
you've got a fresh board and you'd want to surf it straight away. You walk into your local and it's just this disgusting Texas sex mess on some piece of foam or whatever they're made out of. This one's just plain black, so all the minimalists out there will love that. Got another backpack. So this one's just your more standard travel backpack.
It's just like a day bag. Just throw your lappy in there, throw your lunchbox. Billabong
towel.
Towels are not cheap either, Zach.
Nope.
Inflation has really hit the towel market hard. That's like an $80 towel.
I'm going to go 180. Throw 180 on there. Captain Fin twin fin set. These again aren't cheap. And I thought twin fin, you don't have to pay for as much fiberglass or whatnot, but they have been accelerating in price.
Yeah.
I think this is not Captain Fin. Maybe they're staying around or not staying around. We're not sure yet. But twin fins across all brands are like $180.
It's insane, man. Yeah, you say you pay. Obviously, there's probably a bit more fiberglass in terms of weight, maybe, but you're only getting two fins out of it. So I don't know, man. And then did we throw the socks out there?
We've got socks. We've got Ruka socks. I'm actually wearing these right now. Mine are a little bit dirty on the bottom. Yours will not be dirty on the bottom. Yours will be white.
You can pay extra, and Zach will wear them for you first. But that's another service that we're running.
Yes,
soon to be announced.
Yes,
and then the Zach staple, signature hat.
I love black and small little minimalist branding hats. So you're going to get one of my favourites, and we're going to throw that all in together and ship it off to one lucky winner.
Just have to be following us. That's it.
You just got to follow. We're not going to ask you to reshare it with 10 friends and like all their pages or go and book some tour through Afghanistan. All you have to do is just click follow and you're in the draw. We're going to draw that next week, I think.
Yeah. And we're also we're not going to promote this and be like, get us to this amount. It's just like, if you're following us, you're in it.
Yeah. So we kicked off by saying we're going to do 1,000 follower giveaway, and thanks to you guys, we've actually grown so bloody fast that we can't keep up. Yeah. We've missed that little milestone. So whatever followership we've got, is that a word? Not sure, but we'll keep going. Whatever followers we've got next week, anyone who's in there can be in the draw. Just got to be an Australian resident.
Yeah.
Because, we don't want to send that thing to wherever we've got to send it overseas.
It's been hectic, hasn't it? Like we aim to have 1,000 by end of year, which we've made pretty well known on here the last few weeks, and then we hit 1,000 2 weeks ago, and we're on 1,800 now. So it took us 5 months to get 1,000. It's taken us 16 days to get another 800 followers. 17 days. It's crazy.
And we paid for them all.
Yeah, all of them paid for. So none of them paid for.
None organic.
Yeah.
I'm only kidding. But big thank you to everyone who's been getting involved around us and getting involved with us. Loving it.
Just our little way of saying thanks. So that'll be getting sent out next week. We'll do the draw next week.
Yeah, we might do it live on Instagram just to ensure that we're not picking favourites or anything like that.
Yeah, not picking uncles or even aliases that we may or may not be associated with. So, yes, and an actual listener will be receiving this, not me.
Correctamundo.
But yeah, man, let's roll into it.
Let's do it.
We got a pretty stacked episode again. We didn't actually realize, we do have the calendar, but we didn't realize how close Rio was to starting. I was like, we'll do the Trestles wrap, and then I was like, I better check the sort of schedule, and Rio starts in 4 days time, so we've got to do that too today, which is good. Gives us a lot to talk about.
Different continent every week for these guys.
Seriously, it's gnarly.
Before we go into the Trestles rundown, my surfer of the week comes out of this Trestles event, and it was more in the opening rounds that this person did this and became my surfer of the week. So it was Mr. O'Leary. That backhand reverse thing he did was so fucking fast. I don't think you can do it any faster without, losing your marbles.
He pretty well broke the sound barrier in that thing.
He must have whiplash.
That was a crack for sure. I heard around the globe.
100% he's got to go to the chiropractor and get realigned after that thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Even when he come out of it, he was kept going.
Yeah, I don't know if it was his back cracking or is him actually breaking the sound barrier, but it was bloody fast. So
it was incredible to watch. I would say his kind of gift to everyone that he keeps under wraps, and then every now and then really showcases that.
Yeah. And he, by the way, as well, that's not like he didn't fluke that. If you've spent any time surfing with him around here at Lennox Point, he does that pretty regularly.
That's what I mean. Like maybe not so much in events.
Yeah.
But when you just go for a normal surf with him here, he's fucking doing that thing everywhere.
He's got it so on lock, and maybe not always that fast. That thing was particularly quick.
Yeah.
But that particular throw-tail reverse that he's got is seriously on lock. Like he lands that thing 8 times out of 10, which is insane. But yeah, all in all, pretty high performance event. Some very good surfing right the way through. We'll go to the ladies' final first. Betty Lou takes down Molly Picklum in the final. Betty Lou 17 points, Molly Picklum with 14.23, which I believe between us we picked. Zach, you had Molly Picklum as your winner, and I had Betty Lou as the dark horse. So,
and I also picked Betty in my fantasy.
Yeah, so you had both winners, or both finalists. Sorry,
one on the pod side, one on the WSL fantasy side.
For sure. Yeah,
so not a bad innings for us this event. We're finally starting to sound credible.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you've been credible throughout the whole year. I've been just in the shadows
to an extent. Like I'm still not going as well as I'd like to in the fantasy, but we've done well here. Very impressive from Betty.
Clear winner.
Yeah.
This one wasn't a topic to debate on whether who won.
Yeah.
Betty just hit it out of the ballpark on this one.
For sure. She, like I said, my dark horse for the event, but she proved that moving forward, she cannot be considered a dark horse. As she completely blew Molly out of the park, and even the rest of her competitors, quarterfinals onwards, she went 17.83 heat total, 16.24 in the semi, and then 17, which is across those 3 heats, 7 excellent scores. Very, very impressive stuff. And we kind of, in our failed attempt at doing this recording yesterday, we sort of said this, but very whereas Molly was sort of going for quantity of maneuvers, Betty really just went straight to the scale and was doing sort of 2 or 3, but making them impactful. And goes to show she was getting excellent scores in her sleep just from doing 2 or 3 turns, and that's sort of what the judges are really looking for, and she just picked it to pieces. So
less is more sometimes.
Absolutely.
Especially in a place like Lowers, you could find yourself doing 100 turns, but at the end of the day, if none of them really are capitalised on, then you're kind of just wasting your time.
Yeah, for sure. On the men's side, Yago defeats Kanoa 17.9 to 16.07 in the final. Really, it was Yago's day right the way through finals day. Couldn't really put a foot wrong. And then as soon as the wind came up into those lefts, it was pretty well lights out for the rest of the field.
You could tell instantly from quarters onwards, he was always going to have that one objective and go above the lip. It was perfect conditions for him.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if anyone of his opponents coming through didn't know that he was going to go to the air. But what I will say, though, is quarters and semis just scraping through. 5 minutes or less, needing a score, manages to pull it off.
Yeah. No, well, what can you do, though? You can't really stop him from going those lefts, because for most people, I say most people, you can still get a score on them, but you're not getting the 9s and the 8s that Yago's getting on those lefts, really, especially if you're a natural footer. If you're a natural footer, you're pretty well... I saw Griffin really smack the back end out of one. And
on the left?
On the left.
Yeah, he did 3 backhand turns.
He got
kind of blowing the fins out, yeah.
That's pretty well as good as you could surf that wave on your back end, and you got a high 7. So it's really, really hard to achieve those 9s and 8s on your back end. So for the most part, he kind of had free reign of the lefts, and it was up to whoever he was versing to admittedly, the right is a better quality wave, but you've still got to surf it. And I I don't know. I've never seen someone with such control in the air. His body mechanics and awareness of where he is through his rotations is second to none. Like, it's as good as it gets for aerial surfing. And look, even like say, even your Yago, your Italos and your Medinas, who are really well versed in the air, I don't think they have that either. He's head and shoulders above.
No, did you hear the comparison that Slater made between Italo and Yago in the air?
I did not.
So Slater said that Italo is video game looking.
Yes.
And Yago is more skater, relaxed.
For sure.
More fluid.
Yeah.
I thought that was so perfect.
It's bang on.
Although he surfed shit in the event and I wished he wasn't there, getting Slater a microphone is probably the best thing WSL's done. I shouldn't say that. They've actually done quite an extensive amount of good announcements, we'll call them.
For sure.
But getting a microphone up to that guy's lips has been phenomenal to listen to. And at times, I thought it was Chris Cote talking, because they've both got pretty American accents for our Australian viewers. And I was like, this is good listening. Yeah. I'm liking this. And it was the GOAT. So not only the GOAT out there, but maybe probably kick one or two people off that panel and get the GOAT up there full time.
It's such a good take, man. Like, I didn't hear that live, but
he really is game looking. That's perfect.
But and also like the skate influence as well. Like, Yago's so current cables, or like Nigel Houston, where they just look really comfortable.
They look glued.
And like Italo looks really glued to his board too, but it's very almost forced, it looks like, whereas
it's raw power.
Yeah.
It's unrefined.
Yago's is pure timing and just grace, which is
exactly.
It's different, and it really
think that comes down to one big S word, and that's style at the end of the day.
Yeah. And Yago's got it in spades.
He got plenty of it.
Good to like a really good event though from Kanoa. I think he deserves some raps because
he does.
Yeah, his surfing through this event, and we sort of stressed our worry for him leaving Sharp Eye at the beginning of the year and really sort
jumping
of
on the tractors.
Yeah, jumping on the tractors, and maybe initially didn't look amazing, but man, you have to say he's improved since moving to JS.
Yep. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say an overnight improvement.
No.
It seems to be developing as it should.
Yep.
Jumping on a surfboard, like there's no doubt that Sharp Eye that he would have left on is probably the best board we've ever ridden.
Pretty well, man. Yeah.
And JS is great as well. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but it seems to be working.
Well, not many people leave Sharp Eye. It seems to be a lot of the other way where they leave their long-term shaper. Mm-hmm. They try a Sharp Eye out and they go, man, this is insane. I need more of this. And they'll move to Sharp Eye. It's a very brave call for him to move from Sharp Eye to another shaper. And you can see now, like maybe what he was feeling when trialing those JSs at the beginning of the year, like going, oh, there's something to this. And we're, what are we, like sort of 7 or 8 events into the season, and you can really see now why he's done it, and they're looking really sharp.
That first wave, there was definitely some great board control in that.
Yeah.
And really testing the limits of that rail.
For sure.
That first turn.
100%. And probably like the fastest surfer throughout this event, which is hard to do when you got Filipe and guys like Ethan in the draw, because they're really fast surfers. But there was an added level of speed to him. And the one that really stuck out to me was the 8.77 from his semi-final. Now, a lot of bump on the face. It was quite windy. Mm-hmm. And man, he made it look way too easy. His timing on each section was great. And he has this sort of really unique slide that he gets through his turns, and it's hard to really describe, but it kind of just is a slide, and he'll kind of hit the lip. And
you're talking about like the fin release?
Yeah, it's almost like
it's fucking snowboarding.
It's almost like a 50-50 across the lip.
Yeah.
And he comes out of it, he maintains his speed through the turn and out of it into his bottom turn.
Yeah.
And it's really, really good to watch. Like, I enjoy watching Kanoa surf. I don't know, man. Like, I don't really think he could have done any better this event if he tried. Like
what about in the final? What would you have if you're Snake?
I think it was Yago's day. I don't think anyone was beating Yago. He put up nearly 18 points. You can't really. It's really difficult for a natural footer on those long running rides to register 2 9-point rides, because
I agree, but I disagree at the same time.
In what regard?
I thought you're correct in saying it's Yago's day. He came from deep and had those moments of, 2 minutes to go, needs a score, gets a score, performs under pressure.
Yeah.
And for me, Kanoa should have known that he's going to go left. He's going to go to the air.
Yeah.
I feel like Kanoa did everything right through the whole event.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to the final, there's no more heats to make. I believe Kanoa surfed that heat like there was one more heat to make.
Right.
And I feel like he had the rail game all sorted. We knew that from the whole entire event.
Yeah.
What he needed to do was go out and put one major. I'm not saying that all those turns weren't major, but one different, and I would say maybe an air, some sort of layback or something a little bit different to what he had been displaying throughout the whole event.
Sure.
In that first section. And then do the surfing that he was doing after that.
And you saw Yago do that with his 9.5, whatever.
Straight away.
First term was a huge air, and that's what Kanoa probably needs to do. But the point I made with those long rights is that, yes, we as we said before, the quality of the rights is definitely better. Like, it's a longer wave. Mm-hmm. But I don't reckon you have, especially for a goofy footer with the bag of tricks that Yago has, I think you've got more opportunity to score on those lefts just because they're almost coming back at you. So for someone like
wind.
Yeah, like the wind too. So for someone like Yago, he can throw down really big on that first section that coins back at him, and then if he needs to again, he can throw a second one on the end section. Whereas the right is a longer wave, so I feel like it's probably, for most crew, it's probably easier to get a 7 or an 8 even on the right. But to go into that 9-point range or even high 8 range, it's really difficult because you've got to not only throw down really early in the wave, but you've got to then link that into the rest of and show that you've completed the wave, which is kind of, it doesn't really make sense in that you're essentially doing less on the left for more, but there is like almost a subconscious thing from the judges where they want to see you complete the ride. And if you throw down a big punt on the first section and then you're stuck in the whitewash trying to chase it down, that sort of...
they crucify you.
They nail you. Whereas Yago's just gone out, huge punt on the first turn, and he knows all he has to do is kind of finish it off then.
Correct.
And he's completed the ride. So, like, psychologically, the judge is going, that's a finished ride. And I just feel... I don't know. You see it even at snapper sometimes too, where guys are they're tagging this thing all the way down the line, and you're just going, that's got to be a big score, and it drops in at a 7.5, and you're like, geez, like, hard done by. But the way you really access that higher level of the scoring range is by really going hard on the first section or the first couple of sections, and then still maintaining the speed, which is a lot easier said than done. It's really easy to get caught behind when you're going so hard.
Exactly,
Yeah.
And it's no secret. An impactful start and an impactful finish is what the judges are going to remember the most.
Yeah.
We see it all the time when someone does something really good, like Yago on the 9.5 at the start.
Yeah.
And then it kind of tapers off.
Yeah.
It loses its value the longer it tapers off.
For sure.
But the left is shorter.
Yeah.
Does the big inverted air reverse, comes out, might I add, in an incredibly difficult spot to do. It is so much easier to do an air reverse at the end section and land in the whitewash, or even in the flats for that matter,
than to land in transition.
Than to do an air reverse where most people are going to do a turn.
For sure.
It's way more cuppy, and when you're going fakie in that cuppiness of the wave, you are so prone to, I'll call it a tail dive, because it's not a nose dive, but you're doing the same thing.
And you've also got to pay close attention to, like, when you do spin, not digging the nose on the way around, because you're so conscious of getting back up into the next section that you can sometimes overlook that. Whereas on the end section, you've got time to go backwards, spin nicely, and stand up straight. Sure. So there's a bit to that as well.
But to my point, finished quite strong. Although it was just like I'll call it a re-entry lip line kind of snap floater thing.
Yeah.
Kind of drift the fins a bit and rode out of it solid. Like you said, there was no ifs or buts. That is a completed wave.
Yeah. Which
leads me to my next point. Did he make the big backhand air against Griff in the semi?
Look, man, I don't know. What do you think?
I feel like he did all the hard work and then just had a bit of a mishap trying to claim it, fell off.
Right.
If I was a coach, I'd say there's nothing to coach. You did the hard work. You've nailed it.
Yeah.
you just happen to lose your footing at the end.
That wasn't one of his top two, was it? It came in.
No, they cooked him.
Yeah, they did.
Under a 5.
Yeah. They're just really critical. They've really gone out of their way to, in the past few years especially, and there's a few that stand out to me. There's one of Kolohe that he did maybe at Rio, and then there was one of Italo that he also did
Narrabeen.
At Narrabeen. And
landed,
spun around, got in front of it, but
whitewash.
then the whitewash overtook him.
Yeah.
And they've really made a point of like, because again, the judging, as we've touched on forever, it's so subjective. This is sort of like the one thing where they have a black or white ruling on. And if you don't clearly ride with your surfboard out in front of the whitewash after the maneuver, even if you ride in front and then the whitewash catches up to you and you fall off, they're really critical of that.
I think if anyone questions it, it's a no.
It's a no. That's the general rule of thumb. If there's any question mark,
even gives a skerrick of did he, it's like the head judge just goes, did he just say did he?
Yeah.
And then it's gone.
100%. That is the ruling, I think. And I think it's sometimes like the Italo one at Narrabeen was tough, man, because he stomped it in the craziest section and there's literally nothing you can do there. It's like you've got this sort of 4-foot wall of water coming behind you. You've got no speed under your board and you just have to stand there and cop it. Although I thought they kind of maybe swayed away from that a bit at Margie's with that end section.
True.
I saw them rewarding turns made that probably wouldn't have been classed as that elsewhere. But there is also the added, you've got a huge rock in front of you, which they're probably a bit conscious of. So
they should go surf the Dahui backdoor shootout.
Yes.
You can get a score and fall off.
For sure.
That's my kind of event.
100%, man. But yeah, look, definitely wraps out to Kanoa, but man, Yago was just, no one was stopping him that day.
I just want to I just wanted to highlight that Kanoa, based upon my hypothesis before, not coming out of the gates hard and fast enough, he actually did go to it. Did a corrupt flip, landed it. Went for a big double grab, which would have been, Lee Wilson would have given him a 4, regardless. So it feels like with 15 minutes to go, he actually went, okay, this isn't working. I'm capped at an 8. Yeah. Yago's going 9.5. I'm capped at an 8 with the current surfing I'm doing.
Let's bump it up.
The judges are clearly saying, hey, look, you need to do that, something like what Yago's doing, equivalent on the right, first section you get, and then do what you're doing.
Which, again, we've come back to it twice, but like I feel like it's really difficult on the right because it kind of goes away from you. I feel like the left's coming back at you. The right's sort of not going out to sea, but it doesn't give you that. Whereas it gives you a nice running wall, it doesn't give you that initial impactful section.
Not steep.
No, it's not.
Exactly.
And then sometimes you do get it, but then even after that, you'll come out of it and it'll lay down for like sort of 10 seconds or so and you'll just cut back, and then it might go again.
Although Yago would have got a 10, almost a 10, on a right.
For sure.
40 minutes earlier. So the wind was the same, the wave was the same, everything's the same. I still think that's where Kanoa got a little unstuck coming up against someone that's just throwing the balls to the wall surfing. Yeah. That's going to be hard to beat.
And it's a good point as well. Like there's no further heats to surf from there. So, I mean, if Kanoa loses with a 2-point heat total or a 16-point heat total, it really doesn't matter. He still gets the same points. He gets the same prize money, same everything else. So why not just like if Yago drops a high 9 on you, like start trying stuff, because it doesn't matter at that point.
It was 30 seconds in, so
yeah,
just kind of should have just clicked into gear. I'm like,
straight away.
Okay, I'm fucked here if I don't do something.
Yeah,
equal to or greater value.
You can comp mode it for sure. You can say that doesn't happen initially, and Yago's got 2 5s, and then you drop a 7. You're like, oh, well, maybe I can win this final with a 7 as a backup or even my top score. But a 9.5 on the first wave or whatever, it's pretty much, you're going to need 16, 17 points to at least have a shot. So why not just give it some,
And Kanoa was almost on the way. He had one really good start and the wave died out.
Yeah.
So he was on his way. I feel like maybe if it was a 45, 50-minute heat, Kanoa may have won that heat.
Could have come back, but...
Because I feel like Yago started to run out of tricks in the book. Yeah, and I know he's got more. He's got way more. But if you go back through from the quarter, semi-final, there were a few repeated airs.
For sure. There's every chance, though, you give Yago another 15 minutes, he's going to do another backflip. So it's like, doesn't matter, you know.
Now, we got to talk about Filipe Griff quarter. That was a controversial heat ender, which was notified to us by the comments.
Although, look, I don't think it was controversial. I've got a list of dot points here that I'd like to run through to prove why not. I don't know how much you've got to say on this.
I've got a couple, but I feel like we have the same outcome.
Yeah, look, as you said, a lot of people in our comment section / DMs had questions about the result of this heat.
The consensus of comments is suggesting that the WSL are pumping up Griff's tyres.
For sure. And it's a weird take to have because they've they robbed him of a 10 at the box only last event or whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
fair comment. Yep.
There's every chance he should have had 2 10s at that event. Anyway, in particular, the confusion was surrounding that final exchange that happened where Filipe had the one big punt. I think he might have done a little carve before it maybe, but one big punt and Griffin had the 3-turner.
Mm-hmm. Now, they were the 2 waves of most consequence through this heat.
For sure. Now, I've made it very clear on this podcast, as you've grilled me for throughout our time doing this, that how much I appreciate Filipe's surfing. And I actually picked him not only to win the event, but I picked him as my times 2 on fantasy. So I have every right to be spewing and kicking off here if I thought the call was wrong. And we've got to give some credit here to the judges because we kind of gave them a bit of a serving based on the Yolanda Hopkins call last week.
We're serving due, my friend.
For sure. But they got this one absolutely correct in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
When considering Griff's winning 8.93 was the score they threw in for him, we've got to go right back to Filipe's 8 from earlier in the heat. Now, the reason being, they're both 3-turn waves. They're both right-handers. So we've got a direct comparison. And if you roll the clips together, first thing you'll notice is Griffin's wave is quite literally double the size. Mm-hmm. And immediately it's going to play into his favour when they're dropping these scores. Now, Filipe's first turn was probably better. Or not even probably, I think it was. But the size of Griffin's wave in that first turn elevates the scoreability, if that's a word, of Griffin's probably up to where Filipe's is anyway. Even though Filipe's turn's bigger, Griffin's wave's bigger. Yep. So that kind of levels them out. And then the final 2 turns is just game, set, match, Griff. It's not even close. The transition between the snap, so he kind of goes first sort of carve and then into a really nice snap and straight into a throw tail. Mm-hmm. That transition is money between the snap into the throw tail.
It reeks of Ethan Ewing.
Really did. It was, And the bottom turn, it's not really a scoring maneuver, as we sort of know.
No, but it creates fluidity throughout the wave.
And the ability to sort of hold the rail and then go straight into another significant turn, that the judges just eat that up. Now, Filipe on his earlier 8-point ride, we'll run this together. He does a throw tail of his own on the last section, but it just doesn't have the panache. Is that a word?
Oh, you're asking the wrong person here.
We'll run with panache. It just doesn't have the sort of significance that look that up for me.
Hey Siri, define panache.
Ash means.
Oh no, it said ash. Okay, we'll have to come back to that one. Panache.
But for Filipe to be able to throw the tail around off that final section was insane. Like the just his ability in itself was nuts.
Yeah.
But you can't argue with the haymaker that Griff threw down. No. And in my opinion, I actually don't think there's enough of a spread between those 2 waves. Filipe's was an 8, Griffin's was an 8.93. But look, there should be greater separation there for sure because Griffin's was far superior. Now, in terms of Filipe's last wave with the full rotation, it's a very stock air for Filipe, but because he's so good at them, sometimes I like to imagine that it's like someone else doing the air. So maybe someone who doesn't necessarily always do airs. Maybe you throw like I don't know, even like Kelly. Say you go, that's Kelly Slater doing that air. What score are we throwing at it? And I think you end up at a similar result. Like it was a really nice air that he threw, but you can't really go much higher than the 8.3 that they gave it because Yago's coming out and doing like way bigger airs on a section that's a transitional section, which is why they've got to leave that extra room. So to be completely fair to the judges, I think they nailed the scores in this heat. Even I think they could have been even nicer to Griff. Everyone's saying that they're giving Griff high scores. I don't think they are. So Griff wins. Next question. Have you got anything on that?
I've got so much. I've got a stiffy here waiting to speak.
Go for it.
I loved where you went with Filipe's hair. I've got a few things to break out of this. The unfortunate thing about professional surfing is this judging panel are traveling the world and they are judging the same people, month on month.
Yeah.
They're not going and they're not judging a Wahoo Grand Comp or a Lee Bar Board Riders, or they might do the odd challenge or whatever.
Yeah.
But their main job is to follow the tour.
Yeah.
When you do that for so long, you start to judge the surfer against the surfer, as in himself.
Yeah.
Filipe against Filipe. And I actually got this wisdom from the Lipped podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Bunch of bloody legends over there. They were talking about this in Burleigh. And it kind of gave me this idea. Well, it didn't give me... Well, yeah, it sparked the idea that it's so true that judges often judge against the individual and what they're capable of doing and whether they're withholding their scale to go above, so they kind of keep them low. Because if you throw out big numbers and they go out and start doing and gaining on those punts or turns, you kind of boxed.
Yeah.
And I think in this scenario, they scored Filipe against Filipe. That air for Filipe, great, but he can do so much better.
He can.
I cast my mind back to Brazil, going left, big punt, backhand, full row. It's ginormous in magnitude compared to this.
Yep.
And he gets a 10.
Yep.
There was breathing room for days between those two. So I think score 100% correct. There was no value. I won't say no value. There was very little value in that first turn.
Yeah, almost
back.
zero.
Yep.
Like if he does that turn and then falls off, they're throwing like a 1-5 or a 2 at it,
If he gets one little fast zap in between, now we've got a controversial score.
Maybe we've got, there's argument there for it to go 9s. But
Yep.
for what he did, I think they nailed the score. Even like in my head, if like Kelly Slater does that air in his heat, I don't think they really go any higher than an 8.3. It's a nice air, but there's nothing that we haven't seen before.
Unfortunately, it's pretty stock standard meat and potatoes air for professional elite surfing.
Yeah.
Fuck, you saw that at Sharps right now, you'd lose your marbles. Yeah. But where we are and where the sport needs to go, you need to start keeping these airs that we've seen over and over since 2015, 2018.
Yeah.
You're going to have to start tapering them down to allow us to go from this room, break through the ceiling and into the next room.
For sure.
It's this crossover time for the men where I feel like we're at the ceiling. Kind of need to start talking about what's coming next.
Yeah,
that was one aspect.
Yeah.
This was Filipe's heat to lose.
Yeah.
He, in my opinion, gave it away on 2 scenarios, not purposefully, obviously, but the left, he did a full rotation, almost full rotation, but he lands on the cusp of the lip and the board favoured off the back and then it recorrects back around.
Yeah.
That was heart-wrenching because if that was to be clean and we know how good he is at transitioning out of airs and then finished the way he finished with a varial, I'm giving that a nod as high as it can go.
For sure.
Because to do a full rotation, come out straight into a varial, and some people like my dad's age or all the boomers out there who forget their Facebook password are not going to value that turn.
No.
They're fucking incredibly hard to do.
Yeah. I can't even comment because I've never even attempted one, but I know you have, and
they're incredibly hard.
Yeah, yeah.
So, in my opinion, if that was to be a clean transition from that turn into the backhand air reverse, into the varial, I'm going 9+.
Yeah.
That was one scenario. And the other was he did take a fall on the right. That was, in my opinion, the punt.
Yeah.
That had 9 written all over it.
It was the score. Like
it was sparky surfing before it, into the punt, fell.
He left it open for Griff to then have that final moment.
Correct.
If he lands that air, and if you're not sort of following where we are, he kind of just before that final exchange, he gets a wave and does some really nice surfing, and then does probably an easier air. He grabs it, so he's way more attached to his surfboard. But just when he lands really tough, and it just knocks him off. If he lands that, it's over.
Yeah,
Griffin. I don't know.
Steph Curry, night.
It's probably combo for Griff, really. Like
because
in that last
Griff, wave. I feel lacked that spark that Filipe had.
Yeah.
Griff found the combination that Filipe couldn't find.
For sure.
A lot of Filipe's things were outside combination, in my opinion.
Well, it just lacked a bit of like flow, really. Like, didn't it? It was one really amazing moment on the wave, but maybe didn't have the one before it that you need to combo it up and really access the higher limits of the judging scale. And Griff on his last wave, he did exactly that. So
props to Griff though. That air he did was pretty lofty.
Yeah,
pretty lofty. I saw the slow mo and went, okay, that's actually bigger than what I thought it was in real time. So good on Griff, put up a really good fight. But at the end of the day, I had Griff winning that.
So did I. Yeah. To add to that as well, so we obviously put it out to our listeners just to give us some talking points, and Ethan Ewing was raised in a similar vein to Griffin, that they sort of always get overscored. And I was thinking about this because you do seem to see Ethan, like, he finished his waves and you're like, oh, like, man, that he didn't do much on that, and they gave him a pretty good reward for it. And it's just because as we went through a Yolanda's video, which they didn't do. No, we're not. This is
Finley, you're gonna have to start that again.
No.
You can't have Yolanda, Hopkins, and Ethan in the same sentence.
No, but like with the judging criteria that we compared to each of our turns,
Save it.
he does that on every wave. So you can't
Good save. Good save. We're back, people.
You can't question the judges' scoring of that, because they're abiding by their own scale, and he hits the criteria on every single wave that he surfs. Mm-hmm. So you might think through watching it, oh God, like, he's getting 7 so easily, but you have to give it to him because he's so bloody good, and he's just so onto each aspect of that judging criteria that they have no option but to reward him with those numbers. Probably didn't surf as well as we maybe thought he might have in this event. We gave him a really good rap the week before, based on a YouTube video that was posted, and we kind of were just like, he's looking really sharp and really fast, and he didn't surf poorly in the event, but he definitely didn't reach the heights of that Final 5 run in 2023, where he just pretty much, outside of maybe his surfing at Bells, was the best surfing I've ever seen him do. It was
that heat you're referring to. There's actually a couple at lowers where, my goodness,
it was messed up.
It's just crazy amount of spray getting thrown, and he's kind of really pushing that 99% mark.
Yeah,
I feel like this event maybe 85.
Wasn't 100%. You can't say he was at 100% in terms of his surfing.
Man, like, you can't be 100% all the time.
No. And his 85% is more than good enough to win an event.
And this bad result is a Alejo's good.
It is, 100%.
So I feel like he's just kind of taking a back seat for a bit and still kicking ass. That's pretty OG for me.
For sure. Yeah. And there's a couple of people questioning his world title credentials. I think this year, no.
He deserves one.
He deserves one. I don't think he'll win it this year. He's close enough, if good enough. He's 6 right now. I don't think he can win at Fiji, just given the people that are probably also going to be there. They're probably going to outdo him there, unfortunately.
Beating a goofy foot is going to be hard if it's over. Actually, no, it's not. 0 to 100 foot, beating a goofy foot is going to be difficult.
It's going to be tough.
Ethan Ewing can win at Cloudbreak though.
He can, and I'm not gonna write him off by no means am I writing him off, but if he gets to Fiji and he's in at 5th or 4th position, and you've got Italo, you've got Yago in front of him, he's at long odds to beat those guys. I don't think he'd get the nod over them unless
it makes perfect sense, Finley. But I cast my mind back to Joel Vaughan, first event this year, paddles out death-defying pipeline.
Yeah.
Gets crazy fucking spits out of one, comes in and goes, that's my first surf out there.
Yeah, for sure.
So I now don't know.
It's just
I just feel like when we say this person's not going to go too well at this location, to be on tour, that's kind of gone now. And the poster child for this is the Brazilians.
Yeah.
When they came on in the Brazilian storm, when the tour was US flags and Aussie flags, your Brett Simpsons, Ace Buckins, like, we littered the tour.
Yeah.
Then they came on. There was this idea, which was true at the time, they were not going to be good in waves of consequence. Very true. Along comes Medina at Chopes, standing tall, yawning in a 20-footer.
Yeah. And
it's gone. It's abolished.
Yeah.
I will happily say that Brazilians charge now.
He didn't fall in that event until the final.
Yep.
It was crazy.
So I feel like some people hold this cloud break thing like, no, you can't do it. I just feel like everyone can.
look, it's Ethan Ewing. I'm not going to write him off, but just if I have, say, like, obviously Barron's still in the mix, and Barron with Chopu still to come as a tour schedule event, he could very well win that and put himself in that top 5. If I've got Barron versus Ethan on the back end at barreling Fiji, I know who I'm picking, and it's not Ethan.
But one sits further than the other in skill, but there's 50 other factors.
There's luck. There's a hell of a lot of luck, and that's why I'm not going to completely write off Ethan, because
like if Ethan gets an opportunity where he needs an 8 and it's 10 foot and it's clean and he has priority, there's nothing to do it. There's nothing to block his access to that wave.
Yeah.
You could turn around and close your eyes and come back and he's got a 9.5.
Definitely. I don't know, man. I'm not saying he can't win the title, but I'm just saying he's at long odds at Fiji. But what I will say is he's a guy that will probably benefit from next year's tour setup, where you can win the title by just finishing first at the end of the year. I think he's a guy that will really do well in that setup. So
he's got the higher average.
Yeah, and he's not relying on coming to Fiji at the end of the year and having to win that day of surfing against some really talented guys that are going to be really good in the pit. Again, not saying Ethan isn't, but there's guys that are better than him. He will be a guy that I think will, like, you start the season and he's got a win at Bells and a win at Snapper, and you're like, oh, hang on, he's really in the mix here to win, and he could just run away with it.
Yeah, no, you bang on there. So I'll take that with full acknowledgement. Yeah. It suits, the accumulative point system suits Ethan Ewing far greater than putting all your eggs in one basket at the end of the year in 5-day waiting period.
For sure. It's like Mick Fanning all over again. It's like you start the year in Snapper, I've won Snapper, and then I've got a really good result at Bells, and then all of a sudden you're sitting in that first place running through the rest of the year, and you don't have to sort of, like, you can just register okay results the rest of the year and you're in the mix. So I think it could really be he could really benefit from that. Yep. Now, we'll just do some accountability from that event, our winners and dark horse predictions. So we kind of semi-touched on it. I went Filipe and Aaron Brooks as my winners. Neither got the chockies there. No. Did a bit better here, though, with you. You went Kanoa and Molly Picklum. So you picked both second places, which is pretty valid from you. Like, that's
I like that. Yeah, finally.
That's great. Dark horses, I went Joel Vaughan and Betty Lou, which probably my dark horses outdid my winners, to be honest. So that was good from me.
Like we've said many a times, dark horse you still predict to win.
Yeah,
they've just got a little bit more.
They're just down the rankings a bit.
Yeah, a little bit more to show and to.
Definitely. And Joel Vaughan beating Italo at Trestles is skits.
Oh yeah, that's huge.
And then you went Crosby and Luana. So probably not the best for your dark horses, but you got the winners. So that's very good.
Yep.
Fantasy snapshot now.
Now, cast back 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, it's all a blur. I didn't even pick this.
So if you watched our recent episode, you'll know that Gabby, Jack's fiance,
yeah.
Is this first time we've dropped this on the podcast, but Dak's got a fiance.
No, I got the wobbly boot. Yeah. I've went to go to the physio and have it all checked out. It's all checked out straight now. It's not dropping anytime again soon.
Beautiful.
But yeah, it did drop onto the sand.
So yeah, Zach now has a fiance. Now he got his fiance to pick his team. How did you go? I haven't looked at this. What did you come up
I got 26th, I think.
That's probably your best showing.
Oh yeah.
So that's great from you.
Well, it's great and bad.
Yeah. We'll run through. I did okay. I got 6 in this event, so it's probably the best I've done in quite some. I got 6 overall, which is good.
Fuck, you might be winning the prize pack that we're going to get building very soon as well, by the way.
Definitely not. But the top 5 from this event. So Crispy wins again. So he won one of the last events, I think 2 or 3 events ago. So Crispy number 1, 1350. Jimbo Slice. Don't know who that is.
Great name.
I'm wondering if it's Reece Tatum, but I'm not sure. 1340 just behind. It's actually quite close. Number 3, Vitamin King, which I believe is my dad. So he's got 3rd at this event. Don't ask why he's called...
Nah. Roll it back. You have to find out why is his name.
He likes vitamins. Like, he does a lot of...
Don't we all? But I don't make it my fucking name on something.
He does a lot of shopping for... what do you call them? like protein
Supplements
essentially. He does a lot of supplements. So
for anyone who doesn't know, he's a very fit man. So
he's
I take that.
He's he's like the liver king, vitamin king.
Vitamin king.
So came in at number 3, which is probably his, but I don't remember reading his name out at all. Simo here, which I think's Simo from Lennox. And
every town has a Simo.
Yeah, true. And then it was actually like pretty much a local affair. Bowles Daz, which is Dazza that surfs Norfolk all the time. So very, very good to see a few of the local contingency up the top of the rankings. Now, this is the meat and potatoes here. This is where it really is. So this is your top 5 overall. Bowie, still in number 1.
Not happy.
Still in number 1.
I'm actually investigating that. I've paid a private investigator to sit in his bushes while he's picking his team because I just don't understand it.
He's looking
I actually called him and I said, hey, how do you do the fantasy? And he laughed his head off and he goes, yeah, mate, there's a few things to consider which I have not been doing,
right,
and which I should have. For next year, I'll definitely be doing.
He's looking at the budgets going, I have to win this fantasy competition because...
No, he doesn't because he's got it anyway.
Yeah,
so
fair.
he is default can't win. So.
Okay, well, so you're saying it goes to second place. We're gonna have to arrange something else if he wins. You know that. We're gonna have to buy him like a bottle of champagne or something. We're gonna have to do something. That's fine.
I've got a bottle of Moe here that he can have. So I hate champagne.
There you go, Bowie. You can have some Moe. 2, Redley, just moving his way up the rankings.
Nice.
Ballon of Blow and Andy still thereabouts. So he's had a slight drop, but he's not out of the running yet. Breakers Boards.
Yep.
Right up there as well. And they posted a reel of us, well, like including us during the week, which was quite funny. If you haven't checked out their Instagram page, go and check them out.
Lads.
They make some great content on there. And then Paul Southern in at 5th. So there's your top 5.
Fuck, that's been like the top 5 for the whole year.
They just are excelling every event.
Do you know who we need to come in and just ruin it all and shake it up?
Who?
Finley's foreskin. Where is Finley's foreskin in this?
He's a bit further down. I
think he's like number 7.
Every time he doesn't finish top, I was looking at him because he was looking good this event. And I was going, oh no. And I had a quick squiz at his team, and in the quarters or so, it all fell to pieces for him. So I was very happy with that.
Are you that cautious about saying Finley's foreskin to thousands of people on the internet?
I'd rather not advocate that. It's not. It's just a shocking thing to say on a podcast, really, isn't it?
It's only El Natural.
Now
it's just a pig in a blanket, mate.
Let's go. Let's go to the ranking snapshot. So not fantasy, but where all the surfers are sitting. Do the ladies first. So your top 5 currently, which like our fantasy teams or our fantasy league, doesn't really seem to change much. Gabby Bryan still wearing the yellow jersey going into Rio. Katie Simmers in at 2nd. Molly Picklum 3rd. Betty Lou moves up 3 spots into 4th. So she's now put herself in the top 5, which is great for team.
Crazy that she, in some interviews at the start of the year, was just talking about, I need to make the cut.
Yeah.
And now in her interview, she's going, I'm actually thinking about top 5 now.
Yeah, for sure. She's top.
What a circle whirlwind of a year for her.
Definitely. And Izzy Nichols fills out the top 5, but you look at the point differential. So Gabby Bryan, 45,000. Katie Simmers, 45,000. Drops down to 43 for Molly. And then Betty Lou and Izzy are pretty well neck and neck on 37,000. But below that is a huge drop to Caroline Marks. It goes down to 32,000.
Yeah, so those crew could go on a little cheeky holiday.
They will nearly, because unless she wins, she does it really well in the next few events. But there's so many points on offer for these girls, considering there's only 10 still competing. So
their fantasy is starting to become a bit of a joke.
Yeah, well, like their worst result, they're still getting 2,500 points for. That's their very worst result they can get in an event now. So it's quite hard for them to climb rankings, especially given there's already a 5,000 point gap between 5th and 6th. So that she's really going to have to do really well in some events coming up. Won't run through the back end because it doesn't really matter so much on the ladies. The men's is a little bit closer. So you've got Geordie Smith, 39,000 in at first place. Still yellow jersey heading into Rio. Yago Dora, 2nd. Kanoa, 3rd. So they were already in the top 5. They've just moved up a spot each. Italo drops down 2 in at 4th. And then Barron, the dark horse, in at 5th. interesting though, which we haven't really touched on, he had to withdraw from Trestles with an injury. So still
gave Connor the walkthrough. Freebie.
I think Connor would have beat him anyway, so I don't think it matters so much.
Kick a man while he's down over here.
I just
Fuck
don't.
Me.
Barron, a ninth place at Trestles is a good result for him, I think. He hopefully for him he can surf the rest of the year because he is really a shot heading into Fiji at winning a title.
This is his best shot.
Definitely. If he's ever going to win a world title, it's this year. So that's your top 5. 6th place is Ethan. So he's only 400 points behind Barron. So if Barron's out
That's an automatic overtake.
pretty well, yeah, even for an event or so, Ethan will notch up a few spots ahead of him. Jack Robinson in at 7th. Phil Toledo 8th. Griffin 9th.
Phil.
Leo 10th.
I like Phil.
Philly.
That can stay.
So, but the difference here between the men's and the ladies, 5th place is 31,000, 10th place is 27,000. So there's so much still to happen here on the men's side of things.
Which we called at the start of the year, the top 5 will probably not look like it did after 2 or 3 events.
No, for sure. Apart from the top sort of 3, they've sort of been there, or top few, they've been there all year. Italo and Geordie and sort of Barron's been thereabouts, even though because he won the first event, just by default, he stayed around the top 5. We'll go now into Rio. So an event...
Rio de Janeiro.
An event that can be really entertaining to watch. It can also be horrendous to watch.
Yeah, it's a 52 pickup, isn't it?
It really is. It's we're probably 3 or 4 days out, don't really have a forecast, nor are we going to bother because we always get it wrong anyway.
Well, that's one of the places too, like...
Doesn't matter, does it?
I don't know what I'm looking at.
No.
Could be 6 foot and onshore, and I think it's 3 foot and offshore.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I don't really know.
Well, we got the wild cards were announced. We'll just pull them up. I know for a fact the men's side was I left a little spot in my fantasy team for Mateus Hurdy. And when we were recording this yesterday, I was going to announce that he was in my fantasy team, even though he hadn't been announced yet. He actually doesn't get a run, which is unfortunate for him because
he would have been in trials though, right?
No, I don't even know if they did a trials for this man. I think they just ran it. They just gave out the wildcards to the top seeds because they've given it to Pedersen Crisanto, who obviously did really well.
The Nugget. Full-blown Nuggy.
He did really well at Newcastle, so I imagine they've
I wouldn't say really well.
He was one of the standouts throughout the event.
Yeah, until he gets knocked pretty midfield.
Yeah, but I mean, like he probably topped the Brazilian contingent.
I think you're back to my point. You're talking Pedersen against Pedersen.
Yeah, but as in, like, I think he topped the Brazilian rankings in terms of like who finished highest in the event from the Brazilians. So they say here's a wild card.
Some credit to that. Yep.
The other one, who I don't really know much about, Gabriel Klausner. He's in the event. Never actually really heard of him. I know
never heard of him, but he's in there.
He's an aerialist.
I was quickly replacing Marco Migno.
Oh, you've taken him out. We'll get to that. Don't release too much. In terms of the women's draw, familiar face Tatiana Weston Webb re-enters the draw. And then
not happy.
No, well,
not happy.
What are you gonna do about it, mate?
Nothing. I'll scream at my telly in my lounge room like a crackhead.
The other one, another person I've never heard of, Irina Rodriguez.
Not even a Brazilian. No. South American, but she is Peruvian.
Yep. Could have another Silvana Lima on our hands here.
Yeah.
Another... What are you looking at me like?
Rocket.
The pocket rocket.
I got no idea how this chick surfs.
No, never seen her surf either. So add them to your fantasy teams at your own peril. I don't know what will happen there. Let's go through, though, before we do fantasies, our picks for our winners and our dark horses for this event. Do you have yours ready, or do you want me to run through mine?
You go first, because I feel like this one's just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. Because if the waves are horrendous, you might as well throw my dad out there and he could do just as good.
To an extent, man. Like, my winner, the men's side, I've gone Yago, back-to-back winner. He got second last year in this event, and he won it the year before.
Can't wait to tell you who I think's going to win.
Okay. So, for me, that's good enough form for heading into this event.
Yep.
Second in the
Got
first.
the momentum.
And he also just won the last event, so he's in great form.
No.
I think he does really well here. I'm going to have him as my ×2. I'm actually going to do it this time. I hinted at it at Trestles and bitched out of it. I'm actually going to do it here. That could have been the difference for me because I could have probably won the fantasy event if I ×2'd him. But anyway, Erin Brooks, going her again. She's
For the win?
She's going to win one at some stage. I'm just going to go her. It is a left-hander, so I think this will really suit her. Do you want to do your winners?
Yep.
Go.
Now, don't get a boner.
I'm not going. Oh, shut up. You're not. Go on,
Big
say
boy Phil.
You're going to pick my man Filipe.
Filipe Toledo ×2 Lightning EV charger next to his name.
Sick.
Fuck, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen there.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I saw the replay, I think WSL whacks something up on Insta of him doing that big backhand punt and gets a 10. I was like, yeah, straight onto WSL, put him in.
Yeah.
Done. He's going to win the event. And I've gone, interestingly, the same as you, Erin Brooks, with the EV charge.
Oh, you ×2 her?
Correct.
Yeah, nice.
Dark horse, hit me.
So I had Mateus Hurdy, not in the event.
You had him before he was in the event.
Yeah. Marco Mignot, I've gone for my dark horse. He's gonna turn some heads this event.
Okay. Okay.
Go on. I'll do. And we're not going to do a ladies one because there's actually not enough surfers. And
Yeah, that's just bullshit.
I think it
pretty much picks itself.
It does, man.
You're just clicking a box and it pre-fills it.
Yeah. So you're not. We're not going to do our ladies dark horses. Who's your ladies dark horse though?
Luana.
Yeah, fair. I mean, sorry, I just said we're not going to do ladies. Your men's dark horse.
Have a guess. I just want to see if you can guess it. I'll give you 3 guesses.
Okay. I'm just going to click on the draw here. I'm going to go with, first one, Joel Vaughan.
No.
Who else have we got?
Tick, 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 tick,
Crosby?
tick, tick, tick. Nope.
Connor.
Nope.
Who?
Connor's in there, but no. Al Cleland.
Oh, I hate that.
What? Oh my God.
I hate it so
known you
much.
for so long and I still don't understand your mythology around
I hate what
fantasy.
have you ever seen it? This isn't fantasy. This is our picks by
Dark
the way.
horse, yeah.
But I've never seen him. I don't think I've ever seen him go left. When they're at a left.
It's a beach break.
Yeah, but it's predominantly a left. It's Sakura.
If it's 100 foot, it's going to be anything.
Okay, but it's mainly a left. I hate that pick.
All right.
Have you got anything to like? What reasoning have you got? Because you've grilled me for Marco. Why do you think Al's going to go better than Marco?
Sometimes I look at the names and I go, who's ready for their time in the spotlight?
Okay.
Because very rarely, I will say that it does happen, very rarely that someone just has this run and it just keeps on going.
So you're going on they're due.
Yep.
Like every person heading into the casino for their night out going, I'm going to put this on red because it's due.
Theoretically, that is a true statement, yeah. It can't be black forever. You might lose out of funds.
Yeah, but you know that if you're at the casino and there's 5 blacks in a row, there's equal chance that it's black again.
I understand probability.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's obviously it will change at some spot, but
it has to.
It will, but then that's not a logical reason to then put it on red because there's been 5 blacks.
But I'm right because I said this 15 episodes ago about Kanoa. Just got second.
Okay.
No, third.
Yeah. Right. So you're going, this is a vibe-based thing. You think it's his time.
I can feel it in the testes.
Okay. We'll go into our fantasy teams now. Run through your men's team first, please.
Tier A.
Yeah.
Spewing Ewing.
Okay.
Italo Ferreira, far out, man. I can't wait to see him try like a double backflip off the podium. He's going to do some weird shit. Mark my words. This guy's going to do some weird shit at this event.
Right.
He's going to feel the crowd. He's going to be Energizer Bunny.
Yeah.
He's going to be doing fucking doughies in his Mustang.
I'm not going to argue with that, man. It's probably bang on.
Then I went for Phil.
Cool.
This one's pretty left field for me. Zhao Changia.
I like that. I don't hate it.
Thank you.
He's a hustler.
Con O'Leary. I feel like I'm just throwing him in there every time now.
It's a left. I like it. He has a very brutal forehand that we don't get to see very often on tour. So, I love
This
it.
man's having a great year. Was a little sleepy, but was good at margs. Leonardo Fravanti.
Yeah, cool. And that goes into my sort of theory of when it's a tricky wave or a tricky forecast, you put Leo in and he does a job for you.
Exactly right. My dark horse, Alan Cleland.
Mm-hmm.
And rounding it out is Gabriel Klasner.
You're chucking him in. You've never seen him surf. No. You're just going to throw him in.
Oh, man. Local wild card. Pretty smart already if you look at the front end of the year.
I need to take Mateus out of my team as well.
He's not in there.
Yeah, no, I've got him written down though.
Let it go, Finley. Let it go.
I'll do mine now, then we'll go into ladies. So I've gone Yago times 2.
Yep.
I've gone Italo in my tier A. Similar thinking to you. He's just going to go nuts. Filipe, Jack Robbo, Griff, Rio. Tier B. Throwing Rio in there. His backhand is nothing to sniff at. It's crazy. Marco Mignot is my tier C surfer. And I'm just thinking as well, because I had Mateus in there. I know.
Never had him.
I know, but I'm going to have to pick someone that I've just written off that you've picked. So I'm going to just go with Al Cleland, even though...
Oh, my God.
Even though I've just written him off, because there's actually no one in there that I'd really want to pick.
Yeah, but you could have picked someone else. You can't do that.
Okay, I'll pick Klausner as well then, because I've never seen him.
Then we can root for him together.
Yeah, cool. All right, I'm going to go Klausner.
Looks like a young bloke.
Yeah, he's not very old. He does big punts. I saw a clip of him. He does big punts. I just haven't really seen him surf.
Fuck, if he's single,
properly.
He's definitely getting a root this event.
Why's that?
Oh, it's just, have you seen the events there? They're fucking huge.
Yeah, but he lives there.
I know, that's even bigger for him.
All right, okay. Ladies, Zach, who have you got?
Pickles.
Yeah.
Pickles!
Cool.
Erin Brooks, Betty Lou, Luana.
We have the same team. I just have Katie Simmers in my tier A.
Yep.
But yeah, that's us.
I'm not going to lie, Finley. As soon as I see what the waves are like, I'm probably going to change all that.
Well, you can't do. That's what this is about. You have to just run with it.
No. So this is the wise words of Bowie 100.
Yeah, I know, but we've committed to this. We say our picks. This is who we think we're going to do well. You have to stick with it.
No. The dark horses and winners can stay the same.
Right. You're just going to pick people around it.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to be on the fucking bottom forever.
Well, I'm going to have some moral fibre, and I'm going to just hold my team in for...
Don't moral fibre me. I was unaware that you could change your fantasy at round 3.
You
for
can't
half of
anymore.
The year.
It's only...
Yeah, but I missed out on the good part.
Yeah. So I'm going to just keep mine. Zach can change his, but just know that when you hear my picks, they are set in stone, and I'm here to just do good things for
Cop it on the chin
people
when
out
they
there.
go to...
Yeah. But anyway, that's kind of us, really. We'll be back.
We've got a special items that we've ordered for our visual listeners that we'll display next week.
It's very boring. You're not even going to probably notice it, but we will, because it's going to make our lives a lot easier.
Fuck, I've already told my mum.
We might not even reference them. Just next week.
Don't say it.
Next week, we'll have whatever it is here that we've got.
First person to comment gets a stubby cooler.
Should we actually get him like something?
Yeah, stubby cooler.
No, but like something decent.
No, because that's the easiest thing ever. Handing out shit. You got to work for your supper around here, boy.
Okay. Well, in future we'll do some stuff like that. Maybe not this time.
Definitely in future, but yeah, not for that.
Just comment if you notice what is different.
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet. That we'll leave it there though. Thanks for listening again, guys. We got through it. I'm bloody surprised. My throat held up.
Yeah, I've got a defib outside ready for you.
I got literally 5 minutes in yesterday and went. Or not actually. No, we got a bit further than that. We got
28 minutes, 50 seconds.
Okay, we got 28 minutes, 50 seconds in, and I physically just said we have to stop because I can't continue with this. But when we said we got 28 minutes in though, we did like a 20-minute intro. So
yes,
we didn't really cover any content. So
yes.
And a few things happened since then. One of the things that happened, which was wonderful in hindsight, when we called the thing off, I went to check the camera, and I'd run out of storage. So we wouldn't have had a video for the pod this week. So it kind of worked out perfectly. But yeah, thanks again for listening. We'll be back next week. Make sure chuck us a follow on @TheLargo Podcast Instagram.
Yeah, get in while you can, because next week we're doing that giveaway.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Anyone following from now until next week, you're in the draw.
100%. When we do the live, so like, well, if we do a live or whatever means we use to do this thing, we'll cut it then. So whoever's following us at that point will be included, and you're all a shot to win. Odds aren't that. It's better than Powerball.
100%.
I mean, the prize, it's probably not as good as Powerball, we could say.
Well, it's 1 in 2,000, I'm guessing.
Pretty good.
That's great. And all up, we're thinking this is probably a prize pack worth about $1,500 retail.
100%. So thank you. We didn't say it off the top, I don't think, but thank you, Ruka.
Yeah, big thanks to Ruka
for sorting us out there.
Yep.
But we'll leave you guys to it. Thanks very much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bon voyage. Arigato.